Good morning. Today we are going to see about protozoan diseases. About 15 genera of protozoans. They live as parasites within our human body. As parasites, isn't it? So, and they cause diseases to us. So, we'll see some of the protozoan diseases in human being one by one. The first and most important one is amoebiasis. Amoebiasis is also called as amoebic dysentery. So it lives in the large intestine, amoeba, Entamoeba histolytica. It lives in the large intestine of human and causes the disease called amoebiasis. Amoebiasis or amoebic dysentery or amoebic colitis. The colon is affected, so we call it as amoebic colitis. It's caused by, what is it called? This is the Entamoeba histolytica. Okay, protozoan. It lives in the human large intestine. So here in the large intestine it lives and take the food and nourishment from the human intestine part. Now, which is the infective stage of the parasite, Entamoeba histolytica, and the infective stage to human being, that is called as vegetative trophozoite. So the infective stage is called trophozoite. Okay, vegetative trophozoite. So at this infective stage, it penetrates the wall of the human intestine and enter. So this enter the human intestine, the colon region. So this is also called as colitis, amoebic colitis, colon. The posterior part is called as colon, and where it penetrates and enters inside the human intestine and colon and secretes some histolytic enzymes. So Entamoeba histolytica at the stage of trophozoite stage, it secretes some histolytic enzyme. The enzyme which can damage or destroy the tissues. Histology, histo means tissues. So the destruction, lytic means destruction of tissues, human intestinal tissues by the enzyme produced by the trophozoite infective stage of Entamoeba histolytica. So this is the Entamoeba histolytica infective stage called trophozoite stage. It lives inside the colon region, large intestine of the human being. So what are the symptoms of this infection? Amoebiasis, abdominal pain. So little diarrhea will occur, loose motion, but often the blood, sometimes it occur in the motion, stool. So at the time it's called as amoebic dysentery. It is called amoebic dysentery. Okay. So the first and most important one I said about amoebiasis and symptoms of amoebiasis. Sometimes houseflies also act as the carriers, Musca domestica, for transmitting the parasite through the contaminated fecal matter and water. Okay, now we'll see about the second important protozoan disease in human being is called African sleeping sickness. So what is this African sleeping sickness disease causative agent? This is a protozoan called Trypanosoma gambiense. What is the infective stage called? Trypanosoma gambiense, African sleeping sickness. It is most prevalent in Africa, so it's called as African. The people always they feel sleepiness, so it's called as African sleeping sickness. So the trypanosoma, this is the trypanosoma, and the membrane here it's called as undulating membrane, which is helpful for whip-like movement of this organism. Here you can see the trypanosoma, okay, trypanosoma gambiense, which causes Gambian fever. So trypanosoma is transmitted by in Africa by insect, blood-sucking tsetse fly. It's called tsetse fly as a vector transmitting agent. There are three species of trypanosoma which causes sleeping sickness in man, and one already is a trypanosoma gambiense, and the second one we call it as trypanosoma rhodesiense. What is it called? Trypanosoma rhodesiense. It is transmitted by Glossina. It's also a bug insect causing the sleeping sickness called Rhodesian or East African sleeping sickness. It does. And the third sleeping sickness, it's called as trypanosoma. T refers to trypanosoma cruzi. It is transmitted by an insect, a bug called Triatoma megista. What is it called? Triatoma megista is an insect, a bug. It causes the disease popularly known as Chagas disease. It is more prevalent in America. So this is called as American trypanosomiasis. So Trypanosoma gambiense is a causative agent for African sleeping sickness. So when it enters into the blood vessels, and you can see these are the RBCs inside the blood vessels, the persons, when it passes through the blood circulation, the persons feel mostly sleepiness. So it is called a sleeping sickness. There are three different species of trypanosoma. One is trypanosoma gambians, and second one is trypanosoma rhodesiense, and third one is trypanosoma cruzi. And the trypanosoma cruzi is commonly known as Chagas disease, and it causes Chagas disease, and or it also known as American trypanosomiasis. Okay, and we'll see the next the symptoms of the diseases. You can see the redness in the blood circulation when it passes. Okay, the bite of an insect, like what is that, a tsetse fly or a triatoma megista bug, when it bites a person, it injects the trypanosoma gambians or anything inside the human body and enters into the blood circulation like this, and it always, during its incubation period, the person always feel sleepiness. So that is the main symptom. It's called as African sleeping sickness. Now, the third one important disease is called Kala Azar. What is it called? Kala Azar. So, Kala Azar, this is commonly known as visceral leishmaniasis. What is the another name for this? Visceral leishmaniasis is also called as Kala Azar. It is caused by Leishmania donovani. It is caused by Leishmania donovani. It is transmitted by a vector, a transmitting agent, insect called Plebotomus sandfly. It is commonly known as sandfly. Its zoological name is Plebotomus, the vector which can transmit the Kala Azar or visceral leishmaniasis disease. So the infected regions are the endothelial cells, bone marrow, liver, lymph glands, blood vessels of the spleen mainly affected. Okay, affected organs. And what are the symptoms? Okay, symptoms of Kala Azar: weight loss, anemia, fever, and enlargement of the spleen and lymph. So the blood vessels of the spleen are affected, so it shows inflammation or enlargement of the spleen and liver. The person weight loss will occur, anemia and fever. So what is this? This is Leishmania donovani protozoan, and this is transmitted by the vector called sandfly Plebotomus. And this, when it enters by means of the vector sandfly, it enters into the human body and causes the disease called Kala Azar. Okay, so the bone marrow, endothelial cells, liver, lymph glands, spleen are affected, and enlargement of the spleen and liver, anemia, fever, and weight loss will occur. So third one is Kala Azar. And the most important protozoan disease is called malaria. Malaria is caused by different species of Plasmodium species. Already we know Plasmodium, we'll see the tabular column later. Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium malariae, Plasmodium falciparum. Right? And the Plasmodium comes under uh, protozoans class Porozoa. Okay? And the life cycle of Plasmodium is a causative agent for malarial fever. And when the female Anopheles mosquito, it bites human being, it undergoes various stages and it causes malarial fever in man. So life cycle of Plasmodium, this is the Plasmodium, and it undergoes three steps, three stages: zygogony, gamogony, sporogony. So three stages in the life cycle of Plasmodium protozoan: zygogony, gamogony, sporogony. What are the two hosts which are involved in the life cycle of the Plasmodium? Man as well as female Anopheles mosquito. Man is a secondary host, but the primary host is female Anopheles mosquito. We know that only the female mosquito bites human being and sucks the blood and act as the vector. And the secondary host man will be affected by the disease called malaria. So due to malaria, high fever, back pain, sweating, okay, sometimes headache, spleen affected stomach, blood vessels, and skin itching and irritation, muscular pain, fatigue, tiredness, and the lungs also sometimes it causes dry cough. All this will occur. So we must know about this life cycle of Plasmodium caused by its life cycle, how it occurs, how it affects the human being one by one. So life cycle of Plasmodium, I said already malaria is caused by different types of plasmodium. Female refers to Plasmodium vivax. It is a protozoa. Vivax, ovale, malariae, and falciparum. Plasmodium, it lives in the RBC of human being. Where it lives first, it's sucked by it enters into the blood circulation of the human being and enters into in the blood from the blood circulation, it enters into the liver and then into the RBC of the human being, and in mature condition it is called as tropozoid stage, infected stage, and it is transmitted from one person to another person by the bite of infected female anopheles mosquito. First, we'll see about Plasmodium vivax. It is a digenic parasite. Already we know that it is digenic, and both are different, both the male and female, and they are involving male and female, that is gametes are formed, and they are different and involving two hosts. Man is a secondary host, and female Anopheles mosquito is the primary host. And the life cycle of Plasmodium involves three phases. What are they? Zygogony, gamogony, sporogony. Right? When the female Anopheles mosquito, it bites a human being. Okay, it sucks the blood from infected person, and when it sucks the normal human being, it enters into the human bloodstream. As it feeds, the mosquito injects the saliva containing the sporozoite. The infected state in this mosquito is called as sporozoite now. Right? The sporozoite within the bloodstream, first it circulates and it enters into the liver cells called hepatic cells. Hepatic means liver cells. So when the female Anopheles mosquito bites a human being, it circulates in the bloodstream. Sporozoites enters into the bloodstream of the affected by bitten person and enters into the bloodstream and circulate for half an hour. Then directly enters into liver cells. Further, in the liver, they undergo many division, multiple asexual division or fission called zygogony, and produce merozoites. And what is the stage now? Sporozoites, it enters from the mosquito, it enters in the human being, is called sporozoites. Now, in the liver, they undergo multiple fission, that is division, asexual division is called zygogony. So first stage already we have studied three phases of zygogony. It is multiple asexual fission occurs in the liver of human being. So it produces, what is the infective stage now? Merozoites. So this merozoite from the liver cell, it penetrates and enters into the human RBC. We'll see as a picture now. So now I said the female Anopheles mosquito, it bites a person and the person is normal, healthy, but it injects the infective sporozoites. The sporozoites circulate in the bloodstream for half an hour and enters into the liver cell or hepatic cell. So in the liver cell, it undergo a process called zygogony. What is zygogony? It undergo multiple asexual fission or division. So now the sporozoites, they are undergo asexual multiple fission and converted into what is a stage called merozoites. So this is occurrence in the human. This alone you first see, concentrate. Now sporozoites are converted into merozoites. Now these merozoites, through the blood circulation, it enters into the RBC. Right? Now after this we have studied. So female Anopheles mosquito bites a normal person. Sporozoites enters into the bloodstream, circulate and enters into the liver cells or hepatic cells. Now they undergo multiple asexual fission and form the merozoites. Merozoites penetrate and enters into the RBC. Inside the RBC. RBC in human being is enucleated. Nucleus is absent. Already we know. So inside the RBC, the merozoites, these are the merozoites. White color napa. Then the merozoites. So enters into the RBC and these merozoites, they started to develop. Okay. Now they can undergo the various stages. Okay. First stage, it's called as signet ring stage. Okay, the nucleus of this, here this is called merozoite. The nucleus of the merozoite is pushed toward one side and it appears like a ring, modra mari. Signet ring stage, it's called ring form. And it's developed into this infective stage called tropozoid stage. What is called? Early tropozoid stage. So at that stage, the central vacuole develops. Central vacuole develops and pushing to the one side of this. So it appears like a signet ring. So here you can see the tropozoite nucleus. the tropocyte nucleus, it divides repeatedly. This is the tropocyte nucleus, and it started to divide. Okay, and produce the next stage. It is nucleus, it divides and produce zyzon stage. Okay, tropocyte is converted into zyzon stage by the division of the nucleus and pushes the nucleus towards, this nucleus towards one side. Now the large zyzon stage, you can see yellowish brown color pigmented granules, and these granules are called as Schuppner's granules. You can see inside yellow color, brown color pigmented granules, and these are called as Schuppner's granules. Now once again the zyzon divides and produces it divides and produces a number of merozoites. What is it called? Here you can see merozoites, and these RBC rupture and release all the merozoites outside. Okay, and these merozoites once again they can attack RBC again, or they can develop into gametocytes. So gametocytes are female gametocytes or uh, male gametocytes. Female gametocytes or male gametocytes, like this. So clear up, merozoites enters into the RBC and they develop into signet ring stage and infective stage and pushes the nucleus towards one side, vacuole develop inside, and early tropocyte stage. The nucleus once again divide repeatedly and produce the early tropozoite, it develop into zyzon stage. At the time there is a hemozoin. Hemozoin is nothing but the toxin which is collected inside the RBC, and you can see when the tropocytes converted to zyzon stage, once again it divides repeatedly and produce merozoites. Merozoite rupture and release from the RBC. When there is rupture of RBC, the hemozoin toxic substance, that white color napa, that is also released out. So the release of hemozoin toxin by the rupture of the RBC only causes high fever for malaria. So this is the life cycle of plasmodium. It occurs in human being. So here already we have studied, this is zygogony stage and gamete formation. If there is merozoites are converted into gametocytes, like female gametocyte, male gametocytes, and they are called as gamogony. And once again, and these two gametocytes are sucked by, what is it called? The another female Anopheles mosquito, and it enters into into the mosquito's body. And this is the stages it occur in the mosquito gut. Okay, these two, macrogametocytes and microgametocyte. Macrona size பெருசா இருக்கும், microna small இருக்கும். Macrogametocyte is the female, microgametocyte is small. The microgametocytes, it develop the flagella surrounding for the movement. Okay, and it undergo the division inside. So the flagella is called as flagellate. Flagella is mainly meant for movement of this, and it releases the microgamete, and macrogamete nucleus and microgamete nucleus, they fuse together and they form zygote. Okay, diploid stage. Once again it undergo DNA replication and meiosis, and zygote it develop into oogogamete stage. Oogogamete it develop into oocyst, and oocyst it can develop. This is the occurrence in the one by one in the mosquito gut region, intestinal part, and oocyst it get embedded in the wall of the intestine, and it reaches the salivary glands, and here the oocysts are converted into slowly sporozoite. Okay, sporozoite is the infective stage for human being. So these sporozoites enters into the salivary gland of the female Anopheles mosquito. When the female Anopheles mosquito which carry the sporozoites of plasmodium, once again it inject this sporozoite into a normal healthy person. This is a cycle it will occur. We'll see again. So inside the RBC, I said merozoite begins to develop at unicellular tropozoite, and tropozoite grows in size, central vacuole pushing to one side of the cytoplasm, and it's called signet ring stage. And tropozoite nucleus divide repeatedly to produce zyzon stage, and there are yellowish brown pigmented granules that is called as Schuppner's granules. Zyzon divide and produces merozoites, and erythrocyte at last, due to more number of merozoite, it lies and release the merozoite. At the time what is released out? Hemozoin toxic substance into the bloodstream. Okay, it infects erythrocytes, and at the time of release of hemozoin by the lysis or breakdown of RBC, it results in fever and other symptoms. So this cyclic event, it occurs for every 48 to 72 hours. So if not, it's not affecting the RBC, the merozoite also differentiate into microgametocyte, macrogametocyte, okay, or female, and microgametocyte or male gametocyte. So these are injected by the mosquito and develop into male and female gamete respectively. Here I said these merozoites, I said signating stage, tropozoite stage, and zyzon stage, merozoite, they release the all the merozoite, they converted, affect the RBC or developed into gamma-goni process, female macrogametocyte or male microgametocyte. It enters into the female Anopheles body and once again it develops into macrogametocyte, macrogamete, zygote, oogogyte, oocyst, and sporozoite again. Okay, and what is the cyclic repeats for duration? 48 to 72 hours. So these male and female gametes develop respectively by means of oogynates. They develop the infected erythrocytes in the mosquito's gut region. Okay, the intestinal wall, male and female gametes fertilize to produce diploid zygote. Later it's develop into oogynate. Oogynate migrate and attach to the mosquito's gut wall and develop into oocyst. Now, the oocystate undergo meiosis by a process called sporogony to form sporozoites. Sporozoites migrate to the salivary gland of the mosquitoes, and the cycle is now completed. And here the mosquito bites another human host, sporozoites are injected. What is the incubation period of malaria? 12 days. What are the symptoms of malaria? You know that high fever, that is the main symptom, even up to 105 degree. Apart from this, headache, nausea, okay, nausea na tala sutra mari, vomiting sensation, muscular pain. What are the other symptoms you can say? When it occurs, these symptoms it develop by the release of merozoite when the hemozoin toxin is released from the RBC and mixes with the bloodstream. The erythrocyte-based debris by the burst of RBC, merozoites are released into the bloodstream, resulting in malarial paroxysm. What is it? Paroxysm means fits feral. Okay, shivering, chillness, high fever, followed by sweating. So high fever, then immediately chillness of the body. So when the high fever occurs, when there is burst of RBC and release of hemozoin toxin alone, the fever will occur. Fever and chill are caused by malarial toxin and it include macrophage to release another factor, it's called our human body to protect against this tumor necrosis factor or interleukin are produced. So what are the preventive measures for this? We have to break the transmission cycle of this plasmodium by killing the insect vector female Anopheles mosquito. So usually the mosquitoes lay their eggs in the water. So we have to spray oil on the water surface. So they cannot be able to breathe. So mosquitoes at the egg stage itself, they will, mosquito egg stage, larval stage itself, they will die. So make it impossible for mosquito larvae and pupae to breathe. So they will die. At the stage, they do not develop into insect stage, right? Now, ponds, drainage, ditches, that is the breeding places for mosquitoes. Permanent water bodies can be stocked with some fishes. So it is a biological control method using the fishes like Gambusia. These fishes they can feed on the mosquito larvae. This is second type. Okay. First one we have to spray water on the ponds, the other water bodies, or if it is a pond or permanent water bodies, we can stock with fishes like Gambusia, which can feed on mosquito larvae. And third one is there is a important bacteria which is called as Bacillus thuringiensis. Okay, and this Bacillus thuringiensis is a biologically modified bacteria. It can be sprayed to kill the mosquito larvae. It is not toxic to other form of life. It can kill only the bacteria alone. But what is the best protection against malaria? To avoid being bitten by mosquito. So we have to use mosquito net, wire gaussing of windows, doors to prevent from the mosquito bites. Okay, yeah. Now we'll see at last about what are the different types of malaria causative agent, what is the duration of this erythrocytic cycle. So burst of erythrocyte is called erythrocytic cycle and release of hemozoin. First one, tertian benign or tertian or vivax malaria. So name itself we can find out its causative agent is Plasmodium vivax and what is its duration incubation period 48 hours. Cotton malaria by Plasmodium malariae 72 hours. Mild tertian malaria by Plasmodium ovale 48 hours. Malignant tertian, this is more dangerous, which is lethal to human being. Malignant, the term itself we can find out which is dangerous and infective stage and malignant tertian or quotidian malaria. Its causative agent is Plasmodium falciparum. More dangerous infective stage of Plasmodium is falciparum. Here, mostly the death will occur, that's why it's called as malignant. But the duration of the cycle is 36 to 48 hours, 1.5 to 2 days. But even then, our WHO and our Indian government is giving some protective measure or vaccination against malaria. Like malaria vaccine is used to prevent malaria. What is it called? The malarial vaccine is, it was first given in the year 2015 as RTS-S Mosquirix. RTS-S Mosquirix. So usually it should be given as 4 dosage or 4 injection. World Health Organization or WHO does not recommend the use of RTS or S vaccine in babies because it's less efficiency or efficacy. So efficiency, it's not like this. It may cause some side effect. So it is not good for babies between the 6 to 12 weeks of age. It's not recommended. Yes. Thank you.